Good evening, everyone. Welcome to PWLIAS. Please confirm whether the audio and video is clear. Just give me a minute, people. Good evening, Shailza, Akhila, Adu, Anshu, Devus, Khushbu, Sakshi, Pavitra, Nirupama, Pavitran. All are one and the same. Alauddin, Khilji, Abhinav. Yeah, I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. Spammers, please stop spamming. You are not the only people who are attending the class. Stop acting like morons if you intend to become a government servant. So, as usual, the link for today's current affair class, it is available in the description. If you check out the description in the YouTube channel, you will be able to see the link to the PDF. So the reason why I am doing this is, I will tell this every day, every time, whenever we have this class as an introduction, I will tell this. The reason is because multiple queries were coming. So what to note down, what to pick up, and how to revise, etc., etc. So that is when I realized that it is better always if the PDF is shared, because that way, while you are attending the class, you can mark whatever I am discussing it, because the PPT is also made it very compressed. The advantage for me is that I can make the PPT even more short and crisp. I need not actually put all the data, because whatever data, not data, the facts, whatever is there, that the detailed explanation will be there in the PDF. PPTs will be containing what is crisp and maybe highly exam-oriented point of view. For those of you who want, like, want to know the background, ke kya hua, what happened, etc., you can go through the PDF content, mark whatever is there as I am discussing things over here, and that will be it. Clear? So without any further delay, so as you can clearly see, last time we had taken till 25th April, and this time now I have jumped to 11th to 15th May. The reason was because, again, many students had reached out telling that, sir, we are not able to, especially the Titan Pinnacle batches, the tests what are conducted, we are not able to perform well in it because our current affairs is lagging slightly. It is again to do with the fact that, because of my Noida, Delhi trips, etc., official again, I had to let go of a few classes. So I will cover the backlogs and I'll try to keep our current affairs as updated, like what is it supposed to be, weekend current affairs. So let us look at the topics today. We have a long list of topics for today's class. The topics are from polity, governance or public administration. We have freedom of speech and expression, termination of pregnancy, hate speech laws, judiciary and AI, Supreme Court on selection of ECI, CBI director term extension, Supreme Court judgments, tribal trouble, NEET crisis, ECI and SIR. From international relations, we have CBAM, Google Android and AI, OPEC and UAE, India Vietnam, International Big Cat Alliance and India Korea. From geography, we have AMOC, IMD and monsoon, Delhi retaining heat. Economics, we have Indian rupee, inflation for April, comparison between USA and China, capex and private sector. From science and tech, we have cure for brain tumor, dual use satellites, evolution of snakes, T cells and HIV, psychedelic drugs. From health, we have guidelines for childhood diabetes, physical activity, PCOS to PMOS. Society, we have water crisis, employment, fire accidents and labor market. Rural governance, V. Ramji. From internal security, fake currency. As you can clearly see, a long list of topics, but again, in the most crisp and concise format, we will deal with it so that each topic you will remember. All right. So when it comes to your current affairs, only two cardinal rules. Definitely attend my weekend current affair class. Weekend CA and monthly CA. Monthly CA PDF, that is for this month. May month, I think it will be available only by the month of June, next month. Weekend current affairs, any which way, the same day you get the PDF. So these two PDFs you are supposed to revise. Goes without saying, by the time you get the monthly current affair of May month, there will be a lot of overlapping topics. So whatever is repeated, etc., if you find same topics in both the material, you can check it. If it is something different, study it. This is what you're going to do. I know many faculties actually say you should read the newspaper. If you don't read the newspaper and you try to read the monthly current affair compilation, they have made many similes are there. That is, एक महीने का खाना एक साथ खाने के बराबर है. 1 month's current affairs, you're trying to eat it together. Well, the reality is, खाना रोज खाना 15 minutes ही लगता है. Biryani, pulao, etc. if you're having, then maybe it will go up to half an hour maximum. But current affair, daily current affair, if you're planning to do, it is not going to get over in half an hour. Let alone in 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And the next part is, after reading current affairs for that much amount of time, you're not going to retain that information. So whether you read it, whether you don't read it, you will still have to read monthly current affair compilation to retain the information. And that revision is what is most important. You will have to read it at least 5 times. These two. Only with repeated reading, you're going to recall things. The other thing what I wanted to tell again is, before we start with the class, many students have reached out to me with regard to making of notes. Sir, should we make alag notes for prelims, alag notes for mains, alag notes for PYQs, and alag notes for answer writing? So if I am going to talk about the subject polity that I teach for Pinnacle and Titan, if we are going to keep 111 notebook each for each of this, that is 4 notebooks for a subject like polity, minimum. With each subject, that means 20 notebooks that you will have to sit and read and revise before the exam, whether it is prelims or whether it is mains. The reality is, you're only going to retain 1 notebook. There was a time where you could have clearly said, this is only for prelims these topics are important, or only for mains these topics are important. UPSC has stopped with that at least from 2017 or 2018 onwards. Questions like what are the powers and responsibilities of Attorney General of India is asked in the mains exam. Mains exam. International relations related question which will affect the depreciation or appreciation of rupee, that is asked in preliminary exam. So analytical questions are coming in prelims. Objective, very factual level questions are coming in mains. Bottom line is, you maintain only 1 notebook. You maintain only 1 notebook, where I always tell you, write whatever the faculty is giving, whether it is class notes, whether it is PDF, you write it on the right hand side of your note. Left hand side, you will leave it blank for putting up current affairs, for writing PYQs, mains. Left side will be only for that. This is only required for subjects like, let us say, polity and governance, maybe environment, economics. History, I don't think it will be required, because history, again, more or less a dead subject. Geography, only some topics gets updated, especially to do with environment or climate change. Science and tech. This is the strategy that you're going to follow. You're not going to keep separate notebooks. Whatever you find question related, left hand side you will write. Class notes, you will make it on the right hand side itself. Worst to worst case scenario, what will happen is, you will have to maintain 2 notebooks like this. But everything in 1 book. Whether it is prelims, whether it is mains related question, you saw a nice prelims question of that subject, you will write that also over here. Then again trying to make a gist, no gist and all, just underline it. Whatever you find important in your own notebook, underline it, use stick notes, markers, etc. you use, and you keep the note intact. This is what will take you through UPSC. There is a reason why people who are between the ages of 26 and 28, they are the ones who clear maximum in UPSC. And the reason is what? They have solid notes with them. Their own handwritten notes which they keep revising. That is what I want you to do. So a maximum of putting all the subjects together, 7-8 notebooks. Current affairs in the PDF format. Done. More than that, you don't have to do anything. Clear? this is what you're going to do. My apologies to all the NEET aspirants here for the trauma that you had to go through and the trauma that you will be going through again to give this exam. Whatever Vishwaguru, sixth largest economy, whatever nonsense you talk about, if you cannot conduct one simple exam in this country, I know 22 lakh students are writing, how will we conduct, etc. There are even more difficult exams being conducted around the world. The reality is, for the question papers which is being sold in our country, for the question papers that are leaked in the country, the punishment is not severe enough. 2016, I wrote my SSC. 2017, when I wrote my SSC, the same thing had happened. Question paper got leaked. The first exam what I wrote, there I had done really well. But the second exam, I couldn't do well. Because by then the pressure started building. It will happen. It will happen for anybody. I'm not giving reasons now. But yeah, I didn't do the second exam really well as much as I could have done the first one well. First one I had really done well. So for me, it was like a deja vu moment. Because 17, almost 10 years ago, I literally went through hell when I got to know that letter came from SSC. An email or a notification came telling that the exam has been cancelled and the later date was announced. So it's not at all a great feeling. It is not at all a good feeling. Especially for people who had literally sacrificed their everything, their need, their sleep, everything. So all I can tell you right now is my apologies to all of you. My prayers are there with all of you. Other than that, I cannot do anything else. So freedom of speech and expression. Now this article, first and foremost thing is IT rules 2021 have been amended. All right. IT rules 2021 amended, and what is the amendment? 3 hours is the timeline for taking down content. That means you must understand one thing. How does this whole social media thing work? So there is somebody who will generate the content. And then there is a viewer. What we have in between, what connects the viewer between the person who is generating the content, whoever is making reels or YouTube shorts or whatever. All these two are connected through this platform here. It can be YouTube, it can be Instagram, it can be Telegram, all of that. Even, yes, WhatsApp also. All right. So we call that platform, that social media platform, as what? Intermediary. Now, earlier rules used to be that 36 to 48 hours were given. If any content was there, any controversial content is posted by some person here, 36 to 48 hours used to be the timeline given to the intermediary to remove the content. Pretty decent, I would say. 1.5 days to 2 days time you get to remove the content. After the amendment of the IT rules, that same rule has now come down to 2 to 3 hours maximum. Once that request is placed, within 2 to 3 hours, you're supposed to remove the content. And what if the social media platform fails to remove the content within that stipulated time? Well, if they fail to remove it, then they won't get the safe harbor protection. They won't get safe harbor protection. What is safe harbor protection? See, harbor actually means to give refuge, to provide shelter. So I am Instagram now. Government asked me to remove a content. 2 to 3 hours, I'm like, I won't remove the content. I'm sitting there simply. What it means is, now I cannot claim innocence. See, Instagram doesn't own any content. YouTube also doesn't own any content. Content is created by content creators. So if I don't remove it, I will not have any more safety. In other words, for failing to remove the content, government will actually penalize me. Penalize means I will have to pay a very hefty fine. This can go up to $250 million also. Huge amounts. We are not talking about $1-2 here. Everything will be in dollar terms. Got the point? This is the logic here. So, non-compliance is loss of safe harbor protection. Section 69A and 79(3)(b) of IT Act 2000 are used for content takedown and blocking orders. So, these are the acts that allows for taking down the content. Section 79(3)(b), it is intermediary liability. Intermediary liability means what? See, now you must understand it. Everything is not only about freedom of speech and expression. Sometimes very stupid content is also generated. For example, there is this old video of Amitabh Bachchan kissing Aishwarya Rai. AI generated video being circulated. Very repulsive. When you look at the video, you will feel like puking. Feel like vomiting. Very nausea causing video. It is not that that feeling you don't get. What is it basically? Some award show. Both of them were standing together. And they actually generated, using AI, they generated a fake video. Now that content request is placed to take down the content and block the user. That request will be placed to section 79(3)(b) to whom? To YouTube. If YouTube doesn't take it down, they'll be penalized. Sahyog portal is there, which can be accessed even by police officers. Sahyog portal is that portal through which police officers also can place requests for what? Blocking content or taking down content. The problem here is that in the old laws, as per the old laws, if I am YouTube or Instagram, I could challenge the government's request. Why are you taking down this content? What is wrong with it? I could have asked. Now there is no scope for it. Once a request is placed, you have to take down the content. Why government is asking? What is the reason behind it? None of this needs to be explained by the concerned government officer. Like I told you, if it is a totally repulsive, violent content, it makes sense. Repulsive, one that affects privacy, or adult, instigating violence. If all these means, it makes sense in what? Blocking that content. But what if it is only a constructive criticism of the government? Government didn't like it, so government is asking to remove it. Got the logic here? So there it can affect. So we will have to wait and watch in the future. We can literally expect litigation after litigation piling up in the Supreme Court. Clear, people? Taking it further forward, termination of pregnancy. Supreme Court has basically asked central government to reduce the gestational time period for terminating pregnancy. And it is in what context? For a 15-year-old rape victim. Or rather than using the word victim, survivor. Wanted to terminate a 30-week pregnancy. When you're too young and when you get pregnant also, many a times you won't even realize that you've become pregnant. You may think, small girls, they may think, okay, it is a stomach ache. Or even if they skip their periods, they will not think anything too much into it. They'll be like, it is something normal, used to happen. Later only they will realize it was pregnancy. So a request was placed to terminate this pregnancy to the Supreme Court. So what did the Supreme Court say for that? Court asked center to remove the gestational time limit for abortions in cases involving minor rape victims. The court held that a woman, including a minor, cannot be compelled to continue a pregnancy against her will. That is why? Because right to body autonomy it is called. Every individual has the right to decide what should be done with their body. I mean, other than suicide. It is part of right to life. Recognize reproductive autonomy as a relevant consideration in such cases. Observe that denial of legal abortion may push women towards unsafe procedures. Very, very true. If legally it is not available, then what will happen? These same people will go to quacks. Who are quacks? Quacks. They are fake doctors. Their qualification is not MBBS, anything. Their qualifications basically they would have worked in a hospital as a compounder or as a male attendant. Looking at the doctor doing the surgery 10 or 15 times, they will also think, "Arey, simple hai yaar, bas yahan kaat lo, ye laga do." That is all they know. 9 out of 10 times, they will do the surgery properly. But the 10th one will develop some complication where the female might die. And that is when the entire world will get to know that this person is not a real doctor, he's a fake doctor. The All India Institute of Medical Science opposed termination at 30 weeks on medical grounds. Under existing Indian law, termination of pregnancy is permitted up to 24 weeks of gestation. What it simply means is, see, maximum up to 6 months, you can do this termination. 30 weeks means we are literally pushing the limits of it. Got the point? It is very, very like you're pushing the limit. So, because the fetus would have grown really, it will lead to very high complications. That is why All India AIMS doesn't allow termination of pregnancy at 30 weeks. Clear? It is not that union government, okay. See, it is not that, from the other side also you must understand. 15-year-old she is. 15-year-old, she is not an adult woman. It is risky if she goes ahead with the pregnancy, because again, it is a rape case. It is again risky if she goes with the abortion. 30 weeks means, imagine, we are talking about more than 7 months or 7.5 months of pregnancy. Got the point here? System corruption, public trust looted, system abused. Bokaro SP office, first detected case, 3.15 crore. Bokaro Treasury, illegal withdrawals were made between May 24 and March 2026 in the name of a police official who had retired in 2016. Hazaribagh Police Department Treasury, a similar pattern was detected involving 30 crore. Ranchi, Institute of Animal Health and Production, manipulation of salary records on the Kuber portal occurred between 23 and 26. Ranchi, withdrawals, 1.52 crore by an accountant, 1.41 crore by a staff member. West Singbam district, around 26.21 lakh. Ramgarh, 35 lakh. Deoghar district, 3 crore. Yeah. What are these facts and figures talking about? So there is a system called Public Financial Management System, PFMS. In the good old days, your salary used to be written in one big register, very big register, where, 15 days before the end of the month, the whole process will start, where big columns, rows, everything is made. Your basic pay, your HRA, your TA, DA, everything is calculated to the last paise, and cash was given. Now all of this has become history. Now basically what is it? This whole thing again, today it gets prepared in what we call an Excel sheet in a computer. The same facts and data are later uploaded into Public Financial Management System, PFMS, Public Financial Management System. In this system, your name will be there, your account number will be there, and that salary, what has to be credited, that will be credited to you. And so if I am doing the work on 28th of May also, I can easily say when that money should get credited to your account, 31st May 2026. I think time also can be given, if my memory serves it right, 5 p.m. let us say. So I will enter all the details into it. This much money has to go into your account, etc., etc. This will be later verified at the head office also. Who are the people whose names have been entered? What is the salary that they are going to get, etc., etc. Exactly on 31st May 2026, 5 p.m., your salary will come to your account. One of the main reasons why most of you are actually preparing for a government job. Guaranteed that your salary will come to you on 31st May. Nobody can take it away from you. Clear? Now what happened inside Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand? I forgot. Jharkhand actually. Ranchi is there, right? So, what happened in Ranchi, Jharkhand? What happened here is that in the PFMS, they entered fake names and fake account numbers. Fake account numbers, I'll tell you what is fake here. People who have already retired or people who have passed away, who have died, government servants, their name was used, but my account number, my different account number, because many people are there who will have at least 2-3 bank accounts, different account number. And the interesting scenario is from each, not one department, SP office, Treasury office, Hazaribagh Police Department, Ranchi Institute of Animal Health and Production, Ranchi withdrawals, West Singhbhum District, Ramgarh, Deoghar District. That is a massive scale of corruption using PFMS, Public Financial Management System. Where all fake people, in the name of fake people, money was getting credited to government officials who are still in service. Their second or third account, and that whole amount now that is still in an investigation stage, that whole amount, it will end up in crores together. Clear? Hate speech loss. So hate speech loss, women क्या करेगी यदि 34 वीक से ज्यादा है तो बेबी बॉर्न? क्या करेगी? कुछ नहीं करेगी. Hate speech loss. Supreme Court of India basically said that they are not going to make any fresh law as such for targeting hate speech. Supreme Court said whatever existing laws are there, that is more than sufficient. Making a law, it is the responsibility of the legislature. It is not my responsibility. Supreme Court told it very clearly. It is not Supreme Court's judiciary's responsibility to make law. Making law is the domain of legislature. And we don't want to enter into the domain of the legislature. This is a classic example. Classic example of what? What we call judicial restraint. Judicial restraint means judiciary is stopping itself from making any law. Judiciary is telling, nah, this is not my area. That let the legislature decide. That is judicial restraint. Respecting boundaries of the judiciary as well as the domain expertise of the legislature. Judiciary even made one more comment, which is basically like there are enough laws to deal with hate speech. The problem is not that we need more law. The problem is one of what? Execution. Execution is very weak. Implementation. Now, hate speech laws, most politicians, including a controversial remark made by the Prime Minister himself during the Rajasthan election rally 2024. All these are classic examples of hate speech. Or the one made by Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal. All these are classic examples of hate speech. But what action is taken against them? Nothing. So it is not that law is not there. It is just that implementation is weak. Got the point? Hate speech does not have a statutory, a legal definition under the Indian Penal Code or the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So these are various sections of the IPC. 153A, 153B, 295A, 298, 505, which are no more relevant. Why? Because it has all been replaced by the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. That is the main reason. I've just kept it for your information. Additional legal frameworks include Representation of People Act, Protection of Civil Rights Act, Religious Institution, and the Cable TV Network Act. The court held that existence of hate speech in incidents indicates deficiencies in enforcement rather than absence of law. Stated that judiciary cannot assume legislative functions or direct enactment of specific laws. Reiterated that legislative power lies with parliament while courts interpret and apply existing law. Referred to Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan to clarify that judicial guidelines are issued only in the absence of law. Even the Vishakha guidelines that were issued by the Supreme Court to prevent sexual harassment at the workplace, that came about because there was no such law in prevalence. So Supreme Court made it. Whereas for hate speech, enough laws are there. Held that issuance of a writ of mandamus cannot compel the legislature to enact a law or introduce a bill. Very, very important for my students of polity and governance. So understand this. If you remember, mandamus means what? It's a writ petition. A writ petition that is generally issued against authorities who are performing public duty. So if you look at it, legislature is also performing public duty. But court made it very clear that issuance of a writ of mandamus cannot compel the legislature to enact a law or introduce a bill. You cannot basically put a mandamus telling that, ask the parliament to pass this law. Ask the state legislative assembly to make this law. That you cannot do. Because it is a policy initiative. MPs or MLAs, they have to sit together, they have to discuss, they have to see the pros and the cons of any bill, and only then it can be introduced in the parliament. Not on some random person's writ petition. Rejected the demand for continuing mandamus to supervise enforcement of hate speech laws. Held that continuing mandamus would require ongoing judicial supervision over executive functions. The bottom line is mandamus cannot be issued to clear. Hazrat, stop spamming the chat section. Non-UPSC related queries will be addressed after the class. Any other doubts, people? Any concerns till now? Already half an hour is over. Judiciary and AI. So finally, judiciary is also now getting into what? AI. Usage of AI. So this, remember it, very, very important for public administration students and polity and governance students. Because this is about making the administration, judicial administration, even more smooth, even more easy to understand. So one case, one data and Su Sahayak. Two things introduced by the Supreme Court. One case, one data is a unified judicial data platform for the judiciary. What is it for? Aims to create a unified digital trail for disputes moving through different courts. So one case, one data means if it is going from lower court to the high court to the Supreme Court, it will have that same one case, one data, all the data regarding it. Because the problem here is, see, from lower court, the moment you go to high court, the softwares may change slightly, the reporting patterns may change slightly, because what high court is having is not what lower court will have. What lower court and high court will have is not what Supreme Court will have. So the reporting patterns, etc. varies. What happens? You will end up having too much of data. So this will actually help in synchronizing data. That means one case, one data. From the low court to the high court itself, seeks to establish linkage between court records and litigant actions such as appeals. So lower court gave a verdict. Now the litigant, I'm the one who filed the case. I'm not happy with the judgment. I take it to the high court. I appeal to the high court. All that will be clearly computerized now. Aims to improve access to documents and reduce manual verification requirements. Access also becomes easier. The other thing is to get the documents from the court. That itself is a process. Sometimes they will say, I did not get the order copy. I'll tell you one incident again. This was from the state of Kerala. Suresh Kumar, I think. His name is something like that. So the then Chief Minister, Mr. V.S. Achuthanandan, decided to start this massive anti-encroachment drive. Anti-encroachment drive means those people who have encroached on government land and have built properties. Notorious in this regard was the place called Munnar. Most of the North Indians should be knowing it. It's a tourist hotspot, or rather it was. Now it is very much overpopulated and it is as hot as probably Bangalore itself. Anyway, so Munnar is like a hill station with lot of cool climate, tea estate and all that. So you have lots and lots of resorts there, many of them which are constructed illegally. So what V.S. Suresh Kumar in one particular case, what he did was that he was about to demolish a resort, which was, again, did not have any documents, etc. The resort managed to get a High Court stay order. Stay order means until further notice, you are not supposed to destroy the resort. But what Mr. Suresh Kumar, V.S. Suresh Kumar did was, he did not get the order copy in hand. High Court has given the order verbally. And then it should be written down, it should pass on, the order copy should come out. It will take some time, at least 24 to 48 hours it will take for that order copy to come in hand. Within that time, he went and demolished the whole resort. He knew, High Court has given order. Even he got the information. But where is the order copy? IAS officers or IPS officers, like I've always told you, should only function by written order. He did not get any written order from the High Court. He went ahead with the demolition. Those will end now. That delay in getting the order copy, that will end. Because the moment you enter the system, etc., and enter everything into the system, order copy, etc., will become immediately available. Will enable reciprocal access to records for high courts and other courts. Seeks to improve the accuracy of judicial statistics. Again, accessing records, etc., will become very, very easy. Standardized data under OCOD could help identify procedural bottlenecks and delays in case movement. Susahayak is an AI-powered chatbot integrated into Supreme Court of India website. Note the point here, people. A chatbot being used by the Supreme Court of India in its website. It assists users with case status, cost lists, orders, judgments, e-services, and frequently asked questions. Susahayak is primarily text-based. So the chatbot will help you. If you want to search for the case details, this, that, etc., it will help you out with it. Got the point? Now all of this looks great. What is the only problem here? Remember, India's workforce, more than 90% of the workforce is in the informal sector. Less than 10% is in the formal sector. How many people do you think will be knowing what is an AI, how to access these documents, how to computerize it, etc.? And do all the lower courts in our country, do they have access to Wi-Fi or do they have access to high-speed broadband? Got the logic here? So this will take time for implementation. But just because some facilities, some areas don't have the facilities, doesn't mean we shouldn't implement this, because high time we implemented this, because the case backlog of Indian judiciary is in and around 5 crore. That's not a small number. Clear? The rest of it, SUVAS is used for translation of judgments. SUPAS processes facts and legal precedents. Voice first government digital assistants such as Jan Sahayak already exist. Clear? So this is the point. That is entirely prelims related, as well as you can give it as an example of how digitalization is happening even with Indian judiciary. So the whole Indian criminal justice system is moving towards the whole AI enabled digital path. Supreme Court on selection of ECI. So Election Commission of India, there is a controversy surrounding the selection of Election Commission of India. And what is the controversy? The court noted that the absence of a completely neutral member on the Prime Minister chaired selection committee for Election Commission appointment. I'll tell you what is it. That is, there is this case called Anup Baranwal versus Union of India case. Again, people who will say that I am supporter of BJP, etc. This you look at here and you tell me what the government did, is it right or wrong? You decide. In the Anup Baranwal versus Union of India, Supreme Court basically said what? Supreme Court basically said, see, when you are appointing Election Commission of India, a committee should be there. And then in that selection committee, there should be the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice of India, and the leader of opposition. So if you look at the list here, Prime Minister, leader of opposition, CJI. So we can clearly see this is the best thing. Why this is the best? Because all the parties involved in this are neutral. All the parties. Because leader of opposition need not be scared of Prime Minister, or CJI need not be scared of Prime Minister, and vice versa. So we can expect what? A neutral person to get selected as per this judgment of the Supreme Court. But what did the government do? Government, to counter that judgment, they brought in an act in 2023. What did that act do? Well, the act, what it did was something very crazy. Instead of CJI, there will be a cabinet minister. So if you notice, you have two people from the executive, and leader of opposition is the only lone voice. And while selecting ECI, it is always majority. Majority means even if Rahul Gandhi says, no, I don't agree with the name what you are selecting, PM is there, cabinet minister is there. In the ratio of 2:1, leader of opposition's voice doesn't matter. Whomever they select, that person will end up becoming the election commissioner of India. This has been challenged in the court now. Got the point here? Sai Kumar, let me ask you, what fun are you getting out of this? What fun? Keep gathering more negativity from the people who are sitting and studying seriously. You and the idiots who leaked that NEET paper, there is no difference. You're all born only for one purpose. बाकी लोगों के जीना हराम करने के लिए. Continue. Others, for the love of God, please ignore him. Let him continue with his unconditional love for Mr. Pavan Kalyan. Does other country use such things in judiciary system? I did not understand that. Okay. Do other countries use systems like AI and all? They do. It is not that they don't, but it is regulated also. Like what amount of AI, that proper regulations are there for the AI usage. India, even now, we don't have any proper rule or law with regard to the usage of AI. USA has a law, Europe has a law. No, I don't want your sorry. You can keep it with you. You just proved in multiple ways, more ways than one, how dash and dash you are. Fill it with whatever you like. The 2023 Act replaced the Chief Justice on the selection committee with a cabinet minister nominated by the Prime Minister. Court observed that the 2023 Act transferred substantial control over appointments to the executive. Judgments since 1950 have consistently held that executive should not control the electoral process. Now, after all this happened, Now, anybody, any person with minimum common sense will know that, hey, what nonsense is this? Correct. Forget, okay, if you don't want to keep Chief Justice of India, you should have kept somebody else as a neutral person here, not somebody from your cabinet. So anybody knows by this is not neutral. There is a neutrality here. This is so Election Commission of India has ended up becoming a government appointed post rather than a completely constitutionally independent body. Constitution prescribes what ECI is a completely independent body, but when the selection is coming from the government itself, how will it even exercise independence? This is the question that is being asked. And what is the response of the government? That is a next level. Union government argued that Parliament is not bound to enact legislation exactly mirroring Supreme Court judgments. That means just because Supreme Court made a judgment, it is not necessary that we should make a law according to how you want. Number one. Union government argued that Supreme Court cannot function as a second chamber of the Parliament. Means, see, we will pass laws. You don't come and question us. What is correct according to us, we have the power to pass laws, we will make it. Union government stated that the Anu Baranwal judgment did not declare binding law under Article 141. The Union government argued that the Anu Baranwal arrangement was intended only as an interim mechanism until Parliament enacted a law under 324. The bench suggested referring the matter to a constitution bench. However, the government is dead against it. Government is telling, no, it is not a constitution bench wala case. It is just a review. So why should you refer to constitutional bench? Constitutional bench means it is a larger bench. 7, 9. It will be a very large bench where 7 judges or 9 judges will be sitting. I'm not expecting a question on this to come in the exam, to be very honest, because it will be very difficult to write an answer without criticizing the central government. Correct? Diya Chowdhury, no idea. This is not the way to run things. So then one more article is there with regard to ECI and SIR. So this is what the court said about ECI. And if you remember, Rahul Gandhi has been telling from day one that ECI's position has been compromised. ECI's positions has been compromised. Remember, the problem with the leader of opposition in our country is that 10 things he will say, in which 8 will have no merit, no value. But 2 things what he says will be pakka spot on. But the online campaigning that is done against him will be so strong that even when he says something worth of value, nobody will give it any importance. And the very fact that these issues are not at all being raised by the opposition clearly shows the fact to what extent the opposition is weak in our country. Got the point here? So I'll quickly take you through one article. Order-wise, it is slightly... I should have kept it a little ahead. ECI and SIR. The special intensive revision exercise was conducted to update the voters list in each place, in each state wherever election was happening. Why? Well, the reason again is Election Commission of India does not have its own staff. The only time it will get access to staff is whenever an election is there, where they get access to central government servants, state government officers, and all India service officers. When election is there. So Election Commission of India did an update of all the voters list in West Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, etc., wherever elections happened. And it led to a lot of deletions. A lot of people were deleted from the voters list. On what grounds? For small minor discrepancies in name, age, family details reportedly resulted in voter exclusions. Like I told you, one of the major comedy work when it comes to Indian parenting, and many comedy works are there by Indian parents, but one of the best comedy work is, for example, now, yes, it was different. So let us say Dharani Medi Konduri. So that is like a full name. Dharani Medi Konduri. All right. So I know people were, let us say, Malavika. Malavika Vinod. Okay. This is the name. In LKG or birth certificate. 10th standard it became Malavika V. 12th it became V Malavika. In Aadhaar it is Malavika Vinodhan. Vinodhan, as in Kerala especially, sometimes it is there. It's not just Sri Ram. Sri Raman, Lakshmanan. There is an ending to it. An. One ending is there. Region to region, slight variations are there too, obviously, to the names. Like, for example, Vidya, what we use probably in South, etc. When it comes to Bengal, it becomes Bidya, B. So, slight variations will be there. But now tell me which is correct. This is in the birth certificate. This is in 10th standard. This is in 12th standard. And then this one is in Aadhaar. What ends up happening is lots and lots of confusion now. Lots and lots, because in some places the initial it is just left as an initial. In some places it is expanded in full. You are going to have a child tomorrow. Do a favor to that child. Keep a full name. No initial business. Even if you plan to put an initial, expand that initial. And if you're keeping it after the name, keep it after that name only. Come what may. Not that with each weather change or with climate change or whatever, you keep throwing the initial here and there and expanding it, whatever it is. Got the logic here? Because this is enough for you to get your passport rejected, your voter's ID rejected, your Aadhaar rejected, or even when you're filling a UPSC form, it can get rejected for the simple reason that your Aadhaar name is different, your 10th standard name is different. And that is exactly what happened in the SIR. So SIR, they have removed so many names through SIR exercise. Okay. Now what is the other interesting thing? One excluded individual who was later included in the voter roll was subsequently elected as an MLA, which happened in West Bengal. One guy was removed from the voters list. If you are not a voter, you are not qualified to even contest an election. In the last minute, time is the right to file the nomination papers. Just 1 or 2 hours before that, he got his name added into the voters list. He filed the nomination papers. He managed to win the election. And in West Bengal, approximately 1,600 inclusion appeals and 6 deletion cases were reportedly disposed of before falling out of nearly 34 lakh pending appeals. Inclusion appeals reportedly had a success rate exceeding 99%. Means what? If 100 people's names were removed, 99 of them, when they challenged it, appealed against it, they got their name added into it. But wait. This is from the Hindu paper. For the 1,600 appeals, 1,600 got added. It is not that the 34 lakh, all of them applied and more than 99% of them got added. Hindu it is. Hindu newspaper. They will frame sentences in such a way that we will feel, oh my God. No. 1,600 applied. In the 99% got their appeal approved. Their names got added up. 34 lakh, it is still pending. Supreme Court agreed that many of these pending appeals, it will be only sorted out in the next by the time of the next election. This election, it is not possible to ensure that all of them will get their voting rights. So you look at it. ECI appointment being completely government-led. And the same ECI, where there is always this issue of neutrality surrounding it, that same ECI is conducting this SIR exercise. And a person who got deleted from the voter list, he ended up later winning the election. All of this leads to what? All of this leads to normal people and people who are not leaning towards any political party, such people will feel ECI's position is compromised. That ECI is not exactly behaving like a constitutional body. Got the logic here? There is nothing. What has ECI done to prove that ECI is doing a great job? ECI is doing a neutral job. ECI is taking great action. What is there? Nothing. Got the logic here? We know from the earlier example, 2024 example itself, we know no action was taken against Mr. Prime Minister for the controversial remarks that he made during Rajasthan rally. We know that. So he has not done anything to prove from his side that I am completely neutral. That is why I am telling you a question on this, very rare. That is that is what is happening. That is the same review. That is why they are telling the review process has started now. 2023 Act, 2026, they are reviewing it. With so many cases pending, it is not easy for the judiciary also to immediately start reviewing it. That I don't want to say. You can Google and find it out. Now, let us get back. Tribal trouble, Supreme Court judgment. CBI Director term extension. This is actually more important and relevant for students of public administration. See, normally when one officer's tenure is over, okay, what do? You appoint the next officer. Before the CBI Director, few months before the retirement of the CBI Director, you will decide, okay, who should be the next CBI Director. But this did not happen this time. And the reason for that was again, so when a CBI Director is being selected, a high-powered committee is there where Prime Minister is involved, leader of opposition is involved. So leader of opposition from the Lok Sabha, that is Rahul Gandhi again, he submitted a note of dissent. Note of dissent means I have some things to say which I am not liking. That is what it simply means. Dissent means something which you don't like, you're making it known. So he submitted a long list. Alleged misuse of CBI against political opponents, journalists and critics. Concerns regarding institutional capture of investigative agency. Inclusion of the leader of opposition in the selection committee was intended to prevent concentration of control over the appointments. Absence of a meaningful role for the leader of opposition in the appointment process. Self-appraisal reports and 360-degree assessment reports of eligible candidates were not provided in advance. Now, this is what I will tell you. Like I told you, I am a leader of opposition. I am called for what purpose? Appoint the CBI Director. I should talk about that. What am I talking about here? CBI is being misused allegedly against political opponents and journalists. What is the job there? High-powered committee job. My job is what? Selecting the director. That is not the place to actually put up that complaint. That complaint should have been put up in the Supreme Court as a petition. That CBI is being misused by the government. These are the incidents. With evidence, you should have placed it. You are not placed. This is the problem. What job has been given to you? Are you doing that? No. You are utilizing that platform for something else. What I told you earlier, it is not just government's failure what we are talking about. Our fate, the fate of the Indian society is so pathetic that we have a bad opposition and probably an equally bad government. There is no doubt about it. We are like, oof. This is our condition. And look at the second one. Concerns regarding institutional capture of investigative agencies. I know they are targeting mainly ED here and probably income tax. But is this the place to say that? Got the point? Inclusion, okay, this was also understood. This is understandable because you have only put the leader of opposition here so as to prevent concentration of power, but I don't have any effective power here. I am just sitting here simply. That is what he meant. That is valid. That is valid now. Coming down, self-appraisal reports and 360-degree assessment reports of eligible candidates were not provided in advance. That is also needed. That is also valid. What is this self-appraisal reports? See, now you all are going to the civil services, central government services, all India services. Understand one thing very clear, that good old days were one government job. That's it. You're settled for life. You can aram se live. All that is gone. I'm telling you. By the time you finish your training, you enter the service, you get your district posting easily. Let us say 27, you give your attempt. 28, 29, it's your training. Then you go join as a sub-collector or a assistant superintendent of police or whatever. Then another 2.5 years. Easily 20, 31, 32 by the time you enter the service. You have something called a self-appraisal report, which simply means about your performance in a year. Then you have something called as 360-degree assessment report. This 360-degree means what? Literally, like the name suggests. Before even giving you any posting, any critical assignment, even while before promoting you, if I am the central government, Department of Personnel and Training, DOPT, will take a complete 360-degree of you as an officer. Let us say Syan Mukherjee. So I want to know how Syan Mukherjee is. I will contact whom and all here. I will first contact his batchmates, because they were there with him for 2 years. They will be knowing him better. Then I will contact his colleagues. Then I will contact his subordinates. And all the 3 places I got only one report. Little short-term put, but absolutely straightforward as an officer. I will promote him. That's the point. Ulta, another officer is there. Or everywhere, from the colleagues to the subordinates to the superior, everybody are telling corrupt to the core. Or very, let us say, harasses his women colleagues. Sexual harassment cases are there. Forget getting that promotion. Ulta, what will happen is, you will be removed from service using Rule 56J, which is called compulsory retirement. I've been criticizing the government since the class started. Let me give you one good thing about this government, what they are doing now. Silent revolution that is happening within the Indian administrative scenario is, especially with central government servants and all India servants, using Rule 56J, they have literally retired around more than 1,000 officers since this government came into power. And I am not talking about some young officer, dynamic officer, no. I am even talking about senior IAS officer. Some of them were holding the rank of Home Secretary. And they were removed because of allegations of sexual misconduct at workplace and high levels of corruption. Compulsory retirement means that much. That is, you please stay in your home. Pension will come to you. You try to challenge the government order, we will dismiss you from service with full evidence. That is the next interesting part. So around 1,000 officers have been removed so far. Okay. Not one officer has challenged it in any court. Any court. The reason, one from memory I will tell you. You remember that case of 2 IAS officers to make their dog walk inside the Delhi stadium. They actually asked the athletes to leave the stadium and go. In that, I think one of them has been removed using this rule. Compulsory retirement. Tata bye bye. Jao. Gar jao. Not for that incident. It was another incident. Totally unrelated incident. Compulsory retirement. So this is the new thing. So just keep it in mind. When you join the service also, it is no more like I can do whatever I want. Now nobody will stop me. Nothing. But then still corruption is happening. It is happening. Don't ever think that those people will not actually remove. Because I'm pretty much sure until I told you this, how many of you, very few of you would have actually known about such a rule, and that the government has already removed more than 1,000 officers like this, in which it includes IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS, onwards, all officers are there in this. Got the point here? So this is where we are headed to. It is no more going to be government job hai, आराम से जी सकते हैं, nothing like that. Clear? आगे. Supreme Court judgments from various cases. TET qualification for in-service teachers. Supreme Court of India defended mandatory teachers eligibility test qualification for classes 1 to 8 teachers. Said children's right to quality education under RTE Act 2009 prevails over job security concerns. Review please reserved for judgment. You all know it, even I have seen it, we have all seen it. Tusade, Mensade, Tasade, Satarde, Sande. This is the quality of the teachers who are teaching English to the students. I am not going to say again in which states these are from. Names are already given here. So if you have not qualified teachers eligibility test, you are not eligible to teach classes from 1 to 8. Teachers went and challenged it, telling that our job security will go blah 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 blah. Court basically said nothing doing. Quality education under Right to Education Act stands above job security. Review please reserved for judgment. That means still this is not over, it will still come. Why doing this after a clean job due to politician pressure? You mean, why are they becoming corrupt? Your superior is corrupt. And he has told you after he got drunk that he has 500 crore worth assets. Your subordinate's home you visit one day and you see that the subordinate's home has a lift inside. Lift. ऊपर नीचे जाने के लिए सीढ़ियां नहीं है. You look at all this. That means people above you are also corrupt. People below you are also corrupt. And they are telling, अरे साहब ले लो ना साहब. सब करते हैं. आप क्यों नहीं करेंगे? And let us say after marriage also. If your wife is from a well-to-do family, etc., great. But if she is from middle class and she will also start comparing. Everybody is doing, look at how I am living. Is this a house or what? We are living like bloody municipality workers here. I don't believe I married an IAS officer. Ulta is also possible. Husbands also can pressurize the wife. But mostly we see the other way around only. What will happen? How long do you think you will be able to stay immune to these two? Don't you think you will also feel that thing? Let me also settle my life. Let me also settle down. Just 10 crore only, na? It's only such a small amount. For a 10,000 crore project, I'm only taking 10 crore. What will happen in that? I'll put FD in my both the children's name. Their future will be secured. That's it. So that is the point here. Attendance requirement in law colleges. Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies challenging Delhi High Court ruling. Supreme Court expressed reservations against allowing students with attendance shortage to appear for exam. Said it would lay down the correct law. Refused interim stay on High Court order. Look at the audacity here. This is the generation that we are dealing with. Attendance shortage हुआ. क्यों हुआ? मनोरंजन कर रहे होंगे. Correct. Now, because attendance shortage is there, you are not allowed to sit for the exam. They have challenged it in the Supreme Court. First, High Court gaya. Then वहां से they did not get relief. They moved to the High Court. हमें attendance shortage है, but they are not allowing us to write the exam. Look at the audacity. Got the point here? See, whistleblower protection and all ABBA, see, all that is there. Ultimately, I'll tell you one thing. The maximum that can happen if you don't actually take bribe or you don't indulge in corruption is what? You will have small troubles in your life. Small ones include, yes, get ready to be transferred. You will always have a hand-to-mouth existence. Means what? That government salary, the moment it comes, the moment you pay off one EMI, one this thing, children's fees, that this, etc., salary khatam. Agreed. If you're only having 2 children, tuition fees will be reimbursed. That is there. But it is not that you will have an ultra luxury life. Like some IAS officers, etc., we see out by the time of their retirement, they'll be literally going in or post retirement, they'll be traveling in Benz, Audi, BMW, such expensive luxury cars. Practically, it is not possible to do with your government salary until and unless you are married to some rich Khandan ki daughter or son. Got the point? This will be the only trouble you have to deal with. The other one you will do, Bezati is guaranteed. And like I tell you always now, see, it is ultimately not your hard-earned money. It is not your hard-earned money. So whatever you buy with it, whatever you eat with it, whatever you build with it, won't last. Won't last. In the short stint that I worked in the government service, I have seen that. Whoever took bribe and built this, that, etc., one common thing that I've seen in them is they all get some of the rarest of rarest diseases. Now, I've been teaching current affair for the last 12 years. I do know the names of some of the rare diseases, but ye usse bhi alag hai. Where there is no cure, permanently you have to be under medication, all that. So I always wonder, what did they get out of it then? Okay, they build a big house, fine. But do they have peace? What is the whole point of having built a big bungalow where at the age of 45 onwards, you cannot eat anything sweet, you cannot eat anything spicy, you cannot eat anything that is salty, you cannot have anything that is fried, you cannot have milk products, you cannot have non-veg. ये भी क्या जिंदगी है? What is the point of it? You only think and tell. Basically, 2 things we need in life. What is it? Nyam, 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 and sleep peacefully. Instead of all this, what they'll be taking will be a cocktail of medications. Rang bhi range goliyan, dawayan. What will they get out of it? Think about it. Life is all about challenges. Make no doubt about it. I am absolutely. The reason why I started working out is also that. Not because I want to build six-pack or something. The reason I started working out is only so that I can eat what I want. That is the only reason. What is the whole point when you cannot eat, when you cannot sleep well? So this will be trouble for you. You may find sometimes money shortage. All that is possible. As your kids become older, you need to put them in nice colleges. It will be there. That crunch you will feel. But you will not face with this crap. Once that schooling phase, etc. gets over, you will basically relax now. Kids are in college. Now basically, okay. They are also settling. One IRS officer that I heard about, okay, in Bangalore. So in IRS, the thing is, the office is if it is in one corner, the quarters is in another corner. Most of the other officers, all the other officers are staying in and around the office region itself. Paying 25, 40, 50k rent and all. Obviously, how are they able to manage the rent? God Almighty knows. One guy is there. In this zamana, okay, mind you, he stays in the quarters only. So quarters, when you stay, what happens is the same rent will come to around, let us say, monthly 2,500 per month. It will be government quarters, right? So small rent it will be. Now he travels from here to here. In what you know? Hardly 3 shirts, 2 pants. Something like that he has. That's it. Wears sandals. Cycles and comes to the office. One look at him, you will be like, Arey, you will know, okay, this guy is too simple. Very calm, very mellow down sort of a guy. Doesn't get bothered with the fact that in the office, how others are leading their life. He's completely immune to it. And മോനെ അബേ chat section നശിപ്പിക്കാതെ. Enforcement of vehicle safety devices in public transport. Supreme Court directed all states and union territories to strictly enforce Central Motor Vehicle Rules 1989, mandating speed governors, vehicle tracking devices, and panic buttons in passenger vehicles. Ordered compliance monitoring through Vahan portal. So that panic button, one red color button is there in every taxi. Apparently that button is only kept there as a button. You press it also, nothing will happen. Same thing goes for most of the public transportation system. Button is only kept there for show. See, relative poverty, that is the point here. See, the moment you start comparing like that, okay, my life is like this, the other person is like this, there will be no end to it. It is called, in psychology, we also call it shifting goalpost theory. Shifting goalpost. Indian parents are best at it. So what the Indian parents will do is first they will show a goalpost. Sharma ji ka beta. Ya beti. Look at Sharma ji ka beta. Look at Sharma ji ki beti. Look, what are they doing? What are you doing with your life? They'll start comparing with some fellow. You will be on the other end of the court. Now you are coming with the ball, trying level best, working in, day in, day out. You are like, okay, I have to defeat Sharma ji ka beta. I have to defeat this guy. You have never met him. You have never seen him. You don't even know. First, you don't even know who is Sharma ji also. Other than that, he or she is a colleague or what is it? A friend of your parent. Other than that, you don't know anything. You somehow bring the ball and finally, you are about to hit the goal. You are about to defeat Sharma ji ka beta. At that exact moment, your parents will be like, अरे मैंने कब कहा शर्मा जी के साथ आपको पंगा लेना है? I told. धर्मजीस बेटी के बारे में मैं बोल रहा था. Goalpost has been shifted now. And you are like, wait a minute. कल तक शर्मा था, अब ये धर्मपाजी कहां से आ गया? Who is this fellow now? No idea. Comparison, that is why it is the killer of all joy and happiness. You also start doing the same thing. Today you may feel, oh, 5 crore is not enough. Tomorrow you will see somebody with 10 crore. Then you will say, oh, I also should have 10 crore. Then 15 crore, 30 crore, 45 crore, etc. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg never used to wear a watch till he attended Ambani's wedding. Because in Anand Ambani's hand, he saw a rare watch. Rare in the sense, something worth 50, 75 lakhs or something. Because only 6 or 7 pieces are there in the whole world. So a rare watch. Because he has the liberty to call a Rolex company and tell them, I want a rare watch, and they will make it for him. Zuckerberg felt, oh, this watch is nice. Now I also should get a watch. That guy probably doesn't know even how to dress even today. But he saw that watch and he suddenly felt, अरे मेरे पास घड़ी नहीं है, मुझे घड़ी चाहिए. Got the point here? That is the thing. Ulta, if he was always content, means he wouldn't have felt, hey, that's a nice watch. Good, good. Looks good. Finished. Got the point here? So shifting goalpost is something which you should never do. Either to your own friends, to your family, or to your loved ones, your children, no one. Absolutely. Tribal trouble. See, that great Nicobar project is there, right? Which is coming up in Andaman Nicobar Islands. Lots and lots of trouble are there surrounding it. Lots and lots of trouble. That clearance has not been achieved. The clearance was not taken in the right manner. Many such challenges are coming. $1 million question is, should we develop Great Nicobar or not? Definitely we should develop. Why? Tourism. External sector, if you really see, we cannot trust it anymore. With that mad idiot, Donald Trump sitting there. Now 22 hours it's been. More than 22 hours, or by the time I am giving this, it's been more than 24 hours since Cuba is in complete darkness. There is no electricity there. Imagine babies, mothers, elderly people, injured, differently abled. So many people in trouble because of one man's megalomaniac madness. Prices of crude oil, petrol, everything has gone up. Even in India, the prices of petrol and diesel has been increased. Got the point here? So we cannot trust the external sector because we don't get to decide how things should go in the entire world. So the only thing what we can really rely on is internal demand-driven growth. For which we need to have infrastructural investments all over the country, including Lakshadweep Islands and Nicobar Islands. That is what is exactly having. Will there be ecological damage? Yes. No doubt about it. There will be. But government trying to reduce the ecological damage are planning to start actually. So the project's cost is 92,000 crore. This is what it will contain. International container transshipment port, an airport, a greenfield tourist township. Union government acknowledged that project would affect coral colonies and nesting habitats of leatherback turtle and megapode. In October 22, Union government notified 3 wildlife sanctuaries. In which places? In parts of Little Nicobar Island, Merrow Island and Menchel Island. These sanctuaries are for the conservation of leatherback turtles, megapodes and coral ecosystems. Nicobarese community considers Merrow Island and Menchel Island to be associated with ancestral spirit. Now look at the irony here. Government only said what? We will start a wildlife sanctuary there to protect these endangered species. What is the argument? Nicobarese community is saying, no, don't start it there because our ancestral spirits are there. Okay. It is only a sanctuary protecting the turtle. How is that and the ancestral spirit going to come to clash? I told you right, whenever government, Indian government especially, has been trying to do any sorts of development, infrastructural development, especially along the border area, always we will have local community challenging it. The last one happened in Ladakh. Now Ladakh is totally silent. Now the next one is happening here. The sanctuaries include the leatherback turtle sanctuary in parts of Little Nicobar Island, megapode sanctuary covering Menchel Island, and coral sanctuary in Merrow Island. There are other general points in it. Not allowed enough. Any questions here, people? Exactly. Because this is sponsored. I won't be surprised if these sponsors are not from China. Andaman Nicobar Island, etc. When you develop, the biggest advantage is from here, if I want, I can launch a direct attack into Bangladesh. Otherwise, also I can launch. But I'm talking about Air Force picking up. Directly facing here. I can bring in my submarines here. And lock and load. Those idiots were basically telling, right, chicken corridor ko kaat do, then pura northeast can be grabbed. Please come and try. Even before Indian army reaches, Indian army will have to be sent to northeast to save the Bangladeshi army from our northeastern brothers and sisters. They don't know the people who are sitting here. They have no idea about them. Clear? Now, NEET crisis. Like I told you, the facts, let it speak for itself. Recurring, systemic, catastrophic. Repeatedly, this is happening. These are the... So, how are they sending the question paper, if you really see, or the question paper, how are they handled? Anybody can access the strong rooms. Strong rooms are the places where these question papers are kept. Transportation of this question paper often happens through e-rickshaws. There is no prescribed timelines for submitting the OMR sheets, because now it is pen and paper. OMR sheet has to be submitted. It is submitted in their own sweet time from each exam center. Lack of direct oversight over invigilators during examination. There is no way to actually track down all the centers and see what is happening in each and every center. Correct? Clear? Medical colleges in India, 2021-22 we had 596. In 25-26 we have 818. MBBS seats was 83,000 in 21-22, 5 years ago. Now it is around 1.29 lakh. Post-graduation medical seats in India, it is around 85,000. 22 lakh medical aspirants have been affected because of the NEET UG exam. This is again further data regarding the same. 5,432 exam centers. 22.79 lakh appeared. 2 lakh personnel deployed. Even after that also, the whole thing has gone into jeopardy. 13 lakh qualified in 2024. $155 students benefited from leaked question papers. So this leakage has always been there. But it is just that now it is coming out in the open little more blatantly. Blatantly now the leakage is coming out in the open. So it has to be seen who are these people behind it. I mean, not just individuals, whether there are any academies, how are they getting access? Because the question papers, once it is accessed also, once they take the photographs of these question papers, they are easily sold for 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 50 lakhs. If I had 40, 50 lakhs just lying around like that, I will actually give it to probably help my son in the future to start a business. Not for this thing. Because this is again that shifting goalpost theory only. Just for the sake of a name. Doctor. नाम के आगे doctor लगवाने के लिए people are ready to sell their kidney and get into an MBBS seat. Parents will do that. But if a child actually comes and tells, I want to do a degree in animation. I want to do a degree in animation. There is a good animation studio in USA. But the price is around 20-25 lakhs for a 1-year diploma course. Parents will not spend a single rupee. But if the child says, I want MBBS seat, parents will sell their kidney. And even if it is, if by paying a capitation fee, 1 crore, they have to buy the seat. They will even do that. Varsha Bharadwaj. See, that respect for China we have to keep. Because I will tell you one more thing here. In India, if somebody is arrested for corruption, maximum that they get is suspension from service. And in Kerala, again, we had an interesting case where one guy who was repeatedly arrested for corruption, government officer. So he spent his jail time, everything. He rejoined back on duty. On the day when he rejoined, what was the first thing he did? Again took a bribe. Because I will tell you what is the logic behind it. The logic is very simple. So let us say a person gets arrested, is having, forget big amounts, keep 30 crore only. 30 crore. So let us say in actual he had 100 crore. But government announced, officials announced 30. He gave 30 to the officers who came for the raid. Still what is remaining in his account? 40 crore is still safe. He has not told that to the officers. This 40 crore is safe. He may go to jail for 5 years. or 6 years. And in the name of good conduct, because he was well behaved, he was a nice inside the jail, he got released a little earlier. Once he comes out, 40 crore is waiting for him. Cost to benefit ratio. That is the point here. It is not that leaks are the danger here. The thing is that people who know these leaks are happening, they take confidence in the fact that even if leaks are detected, court and the government will finally say what? They will say only for a few. Why to cancel an exam where lakhs will be affected? This is what they have been relying on. And what punishment will they get maximum? Banned from the exam. Oh, such a loss. Oh. Life imprisonment should be given. China, if you are caught for corruption, it is capital punishment. It is death. Sazaye maut. You could be the nephew, the son, the daughter of the party president of Communist Party in China. No use. You are convicted of corruption. You are done. You are sentenced to death. Same thing for this exam related leakage also. If anybody does indulge in any wrongdoing, it is either capital punishment or life imprisonment forever. Life imprisonment means it is for life. That is, you will die in the jail. Got the point here? This is done. Carbon border adjustment mechanism. Now the CBAM has come into effect from January 1, 2026. And what is this? See, European Union is one such place where you have very strict carbon laws. That is what how much amount of emissions are released, that is strictly monitored in European region. That is the reason why when you go to Europe, for example, a place like Germany, if you go, there is a limit for internet. I'm not joking. I think 1 GB or 2 GB per day. Only that much of data is allowed per individual. More than that, even if you have money, you don't have money, you won't be able to use it. That is the law there. And there, almost everything you have to fill with pen, paper. Forms after forms. That means sometimes when you look at the size of the forms that you have to fill, it is this big. And if you need to get an AC fit there, during peak summer, let it be. Even if you need to get an AC fit there, you need to get a list of clearances. It is not at all easy. That is the level of headache there. So what is the advantage because of that? The advantage is this: it has the cleanest air, cleanest water, cleanest environment. That is the reason why when people come from Europe to India, as soon as they enter India, they start coughing and tears starts coming out of their eyes. They feel their eyes are burning. Their nose also will feel very irritating, etc. We feel, hey, wah, shuddh taza hawa. That is what we feel. We are used to it. Daily we are taking chemicals slowly and slowly we are taking. People in Delhi are smoking around 10 packets of cigarette a day. Got the logic here? So that is what is happening. And because of those strict rules, what has happened? Industries in European Union, factories in European Union, they invest heavily on clean energy technologies. So when you talk about, let us say, a steel factory in European Union, its emissions will be so less compared to a steel factory in India. Why? Because in India, that level of stringent environmental regulations are not there. In Europe, it is there. So, zahir hai, European Union steel will be very costly because they invest in very clean technology. On the contrary, Indian steel will be what? Very cheap. Now, because European Union smaller the map, clearer it will become. Always remember that. Clear. European Union and India has basically signed a free trade agreement. So if Indian goods are going to go abroad, they'll be competing with the local European goods. And because in India, there is no such thing called environmental regulation, many of the Indian goods will be cheap. European goods will struggle now. Array, how will we deal with them? So European Union found a way around it, which is what? Carbon border adjustment mechanism. Which in other words simply means, if Indian steel is going to European Union, okay, and it is coming from pathetic steel factories which are polluting everything, European Union will charge a tax on Indian goods the moment it enters Europe. And it's called a carbon border adjustment mechanism, because the moment it crosses the border of Europe, the tax will be applied. So what will happen? Indian steel goods, European steel goods prices will match. Europe's domestic industries will be protected. That's the logic. How can India counter it? Well, what India can do is, India can invest in, Indian government can basically ask the companies to invest in carbon trading systems. What do you mean by carbon trading system? So if I am a steel factory, either I can invest in clean technology, or I can invest in clean energy projects like electric vehicle, solar energy, hydel energy, all that I can invest. When I invest in clean energy projects, I will get what? Carbon credit. Now this carbon credit, if I already have, then I have to pay less tax. I need not pay that high level tax because I'm investing in clean energy. Got the logic here? So we'll have to wait and watch how this thing will unfold, because it will take its own sweet time. To quote unquote Shashi Tharoor, Indian diplomacy is like two elephants having sex. Elephants having sex. Why? According to him, this is written, I think, in his book, Pax Indica. In that, it is written in the front cover or something. So elephants, when it has sex, it happens at a very high level. Just like India European Union free trade agreement happened at a very high level, where they called it the mother of all deals. And just like after elephants have sex, you will have to wait at least 1.5 year, I think. 1.5 year, close to 18 months, you will have to wait just to finalize whether the elephant has become pregnant or not. Same way, you will also have to wait 18 months at least to know whether this thing is really successful or not. Because according to some recently one from one of the representatives from the private sector basically told that free trade agreement has been signed, but there are a lot of things that needs to be worked on at the ground level. So that is the crazy aspect. We may sign as many free trade agreements as it is needed, but ground level, many things don't change in our country. Our country, European Union and all, it will change in no time. Ban selling of diesel and petrol vehicle in Delhi NCR. Then how will people travel? Google and find out what is the percentage of two-wheelers in India. Four-wheelers in India. Google and tell me. Banning it won't be a solution. Velvet vibe. NEET exam is needed because it gives access to people from rural and very vulnerable backgrounds an opportunity to study in the premium medical colleges in this country. If you don't have that exam, the seats will be again MBBS will be sold at will be sold. Whoever is the highest bidder, seats will be sold like that. So only those who have money, they will be able to afford it. You will end up having doctors who have become doctors by paying money. The health sector itself will collapse. 13% four-wheeler, 75% two-wheeler. Yeah, that is my point. When you say petrol needs to be banned, 75%, this 75% is the voting percentage. Two-wheeler, they are the voting population. You take it out and that's it, game over. Diesel vehicles, when you say you have to take it out, that is the most cheapest form of transportation in the country. So you take out diesel transportation system, fruits and vegetables, logistics cost will go up. Every transportation cost will go up. You will have very high food inflation in your hands. Clear? Google, Android and AI. This is basically a new ruling that has come out, which is the Digital Markets Act. I've given its definition in your PDF. So what is this all about is, Google has been told that whatever their Android system is there, it should give access to third-party users and third-party apps. Right now, if you see Google's or Android phone, etc., when you open it itself, most of the softwares there, whatever you see, built-in softwares, these are softwares in which Google has direct or indirect stake. Stake means they have a share in it. Like YouTube, Gmail, these are all again connected with each other. So the idea here is you keep it open. You keep it open where data can be interchangeably used, it can be easily accessed. Users are not forced to use only Google products. This is the act. Google has tried challenging it, but it has not worked out in Europe. What it simply means is data availability or usage of apps, etc., beyond Google will become very much possible. That is, even the AI what we are talking about currently, it will become even more cheaper now. Because easy access, you can access any AI tool, you can access any AI software, you can access anything that you want. That is the point. Maybe, see, that is very much possible. Another exam could replace, but we'll have to wait and watch again. Because like I told you, if I was the opposition leader, I would have got the students out. I would have got the students out and I would have actually gone and protested in front of NTA authorities office, wherever they are. And actually, I would have courted arrest. I would have told that this is happening repeatedly. For SSC, this has happened multiple times. For NEET also, this is happening multiple times. Why do we even have this agency here? I would have made it a political issue by now. But that is not happening. 22 lakh students' fate. Just like that. People who are writing it for first time, okay. They are still 18, they can maybe, okay, one more year. They can give if they want. What about those people who are already doing their second repeat, third year repeat, fourth year repeat, 5-6 years, taking a drop and preparing for this one exam in the dream of getting an MBBS seat? Clear? This is not union list. This is international news that we are discussing. At least read the PDF and see the heading. OPEC and UAE. OPEC is what? Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and OPEC Plus Alliance. From May 1st, UAE will not be a member of it or part of it. OPEC is like a cartel. Cartel means they are like a group that basically decides how much crude oil has to be produced. What is the purpose of it? So when demand for crude oil is more, there is no issue. Okay, I can keep a minimum amount of supply, and that way supply, when I keep it a little lesser than the demand, always the price will be high. Correct? Anything that you supply more than the demand, it will lose its value. I've told this earlier also. The reason why your first girlfriend left you is because you kept on going around her. Please love me, love me, love me. Going on telling her, I love you, I love you, I love you. So you supplied more love than what was in demand. So she left you. She felt irritated with that. If there was 10 lakh IAS seats in a year, demand for IAS also would have gone down. Gali gali mein IAS. The same thing would have happened. What had happened with engineers? You throw a stone today, it will fall on an engineer's head. That many engineers you are having. That many engineers. Same thing would have happened here. So always remember, demand should be more than the supply. Then only value will be there. That is exactly what OPEC is doing. By limiting the supply, they are able to increase the price. Now the price has gone up thanks to the whole Strait of Hormuz issue. But what is the real reason that UAE has decided to step out of it? Well, the fact is UAE is blessed with two things. Yes, one, it has plenty of oil. No doubt about it. It is very rich in crude oil. The other reason being that this is one place where the extraction cost, that is the cost necessary to extract the oil, the crude oil, that is very, very low. One of the lowest in the world. So UAE is feeling, why should I listen to these people, man? Why should I listen to the Saudi Arabia? Why should I listen to all these people? I will manufacture my oil and I will get things done. Because what UAE is thinking is, UAE is not just worried about, UAE is not really worried about what is happening in the Middle East. UAE is looking ahead to a future where crude oil will be no more needed and renewable energy will take dominance. So UAE wants to ensure complete security and safety for their country in the future. And how is that possible? By building relationships from this point onwards. That is the reason why, if you specifically notice, UAE is very keen on building good relationships with India. In a very short, very quick visit, Prime Minister Modi visited UAE, where important deals or agreements were signed with regard to LPG, with regard to crude oil, with regard to UAE making investments into India. All these things were discussed and finalized. That is the bottom line. That is the reason why UAE is again not having any issues to deal even with Israel. This is the bottom line. Got the point here? Any doubts? Other details, you can read it here. UAE joined in 1967, OPEC in 1960, Baghdad Conference, started by Iran, Kuwait, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. And other prelims related details are there. You may go through it. So even now, if UAE enters, UAE produces, is the exit going to affect India in major way? It is only going to benefit India. See, the point here is right now crude oil prices are very, very high, correct? Crude oil prices are very, very high. And what is the reason? The reason is simple. This one simple block. The Strait of Hormuz region has been blocked. As a result of which, when the crude oil is being produced into that region, only limited supply is actually coming out. Very little, because Iran will get to decide who should come out. But with UAE stepping out of OPEC, what happens? UAE can increase its production. That means possibly, not now, in the future, this will lead to increased production. Even if there is a $1 drop in the international prices of crude oil, it will lead to billions in dollars saving for India. One day this crisis will end. The Strait of Hormuz crisis will end. And one country stepped out of OPEC. There is a chance that other countries also can step out. Production will increase. Supply will increase like anything. Crude oil prices will crash. There is a huge possibility for it. That is the reason now why, again, USA doesn't want to end the war. They got what they wanted. Dollar value increased. Most of the Asian currencies have crashed. Indian economy is still on tender hooks now. In no time, if this continues, maybe before June 30th, there is a huge chance that Indian rupee will cross the 100, breach the 100 barrier. Easily. But what is the counter to it? You stop the war. UAE has exited. Crude oil will start coming out in tons and tons. Crude oil prices will crash. Crude oil prices crashes means even dollar demand will go down. Asian currencies will start rising up, which will again affect the US economy. US economy gets affected. India's export will get affected again. I mean, not that much this time because we have so many free trade agreements. That is why USA don't want to do anything. That is why they are going on telling, we may do this, we will do that, keeping it very speculative. Either you are ending the war or you are going to attack them on the ground. Trump is not giving any clear signal. Because now he is also like confused what to do now, how to stop this menace now. The only way is a gradual retreat. But a gradual retreat shouldn't look like a defeat of USA again. Iran is trying to ensure that USA is getting defeated. So this will continue. Correct? Yes, Praveen Pibble. Definitely, OPEC will get affected because see, from a group, actually, even if one member leaves, it automatically puts that thought or idea in other people's head. Why should we listen to these people? Who are these people anyway? We will deal with our country and our issues. For our country, we need to produce more oil. Now is the time to produce more oil and take advantage of the high prices. That is what will happen. No organization can have control over these wars. Correct, B. Satish. India, Vietnam, it is just pure content only. Nothing is there to discuss other than some strategic dealings. I've highlighted the some things. What is prelims oriented, what is there, that I have highlighted. So what you can do is, you can basically, PCI, SIR. Just a minute. Yes, your international Google OPEC. Yeah. India Vietnam have filed INS Kirpan. India Vietnam bilateral trade has crossed $16 billion. That I have put it in red color. The rest of it are general points associated or continuation of it that you just go through. The next topic is International Big Cat Alliance. Which all are the big cats here? Tiger, lion, leopard, cheetah. Now these four you know. Puma. I know the brand is there, but Puma is also a, like seen in South America, etc. Jaguar, again South America. Snow leopard. Himalayan region. Sometimes called the ghost. Alright. 24 member countries, 3 observer countries. India has invited China to join, but China is yet to join. One reason can be that China has very less number of tigers. The tigers found in China, they are called Siberian tigers or Amur tigers, AMUR. They are literally like, imagine the Royal Bengal tiger visited the gym. Huge in size, really huge in size, because they have to survive in the snowy regions. They are literally huge, heavy built they are, but very few in number. All right, representatives from 95 countries are expected to participate in the summit. Then, yes, one of the most important prelims related point is member countries don't have to make any financial commitments. Financial commitments are not at all necessary. What is necessary instead? You need to keep a track of your big cats, share the data, track them. It means to put collar, etc. If they have crossed the border, we have border, India, China, Pakistan, like that, we have border. But tigers don't have any border like that. They will keep moving around. So tracking them, sharing information, only that is the point. You don't have to, since a month you are asking. Adnan, Mushtaq, wait till the end of the class. Then you can ask. Don't be so dramatic also. I don't have any Isaac, what is it? Janam ka dushmani with you. India, Korea also the same thing. I have highlighted the important points there. So if you really see, diplomatic relations were established in 1973. Signed a MOU on defense industry and logistics in 2005. Bilateral relations to special strategic partnership in 2015. A 2020 roadmap for defense industries cooperation. K9 Vajra T self-propelled artillery system. South Korea announced Korea-India Defense Accelerator, Kind X, similar to Indus X. Indus X refers to the India-United States Defense Accelerator ecosystem. FRIND X refers to the France-India Defense Startup Excellence Initiative. So those names all are potential prelims. Go through it quickly. Clear? Iran is controlling it through its proxies. Iran is bombing vessels there. Iran is continuously bombing. See, it is not just Iranian government that we are talking about. Iran has its proxies. Hamas in that Israel region. Houthis in Yemen. So in all these places, their proxies are there, which are like mercenaries. Small groups. So they will see one ship is going, they'll put one missile and they'll sit quiet. Who will take a risk? See, understand one thing. That entire region, okay, one ship blasts, crude oil leaks. That's it. Gone. Then you will have a Pandora's box in your hand. You not only you will be able to use that route anymore, cleaning up it would be a nightmare, a logistical and environmental nightmare. That is the reason. That is why nobody is taking anything in, nobody is taking anything out. Benefits of conservation of tiger, it is the apex predator, the top of the food chain. You remove the big cat. If there are no big cats, deer population will increase. Deer or other herbivorous population. That increases the trees, the shrubs, they will go for a toss. They go for a toss, it will affect the human population. That's why you need them. Amok, we are yet to come there. Wait. So, just a minute. Yeah. Atlantic meridional overturning circulation. Amok. What is this basically? This is one of the ocean currents that is basically responsible for regulating the temperature between the polar region and the tropic. And how does it go? So basically, the route is like this. Hot water from the tropic region rises, goes northwards. All right. Once it reaches northward, it cools down, comes back. Okay, this arrow mark is not exactly right. This should have been down. Can't trust ChatGPT always to do a proper job. So this rises, this comes down. This is the way it is supposed to go. Hot water rises up, cold water sinks and comes down. But this again happens like if very slowly, very, very slowly. It takes almost 1,000 years for 1 cubic centimeter of water to complete this one loop. 1,000 years. Now this whole thing has been affected. Why? Climate change. Arctic ice is melting. So Arctic ice, as it keeps melting, more and more fresh water gets added up. Fresh water gets added up, what happens? Salt content reduces. Correct? Water will not sink. Water will be at the top only. That means, in other words, this hot water that is going up, this will not sink at the top. This will stay above only. It will float. It won't sink down. Technically, this is supposed to, this cold water, normally it will rise up, it will go there, get cooled, and it will sink. But that sinking won't happen. Because now more and more fresh water is coming because of the ice melting. What will that lead to? So normally this is supposed to help moderate climate, influence rainfall pattern, impact the America, affects Asia, all that. So warm water flows north, cools in the Arctic, sinks to deep ocean, flows south as deep current. This is the process. But with climate change, this is getting affected. This last two stage, 1,000 years it will take to complete one loop. Got the point? Let us take it up further. The Amok is a massive conveyor belt of ocean currents in the Atlantic that moves heat across the globe, heavily influencing worldwide weather patterns. A looming collapse. Melting Arctic ice is dumping fresh water into the Atlantic, acting as a brake on these currents. Scientists warn that system is slowing down and could cause a catastrophic tipping point of no return. If the Amok collapses, it will disrupt weather globally, trapping heat in ways that make phenomena like El Nino far more unpredictable and extreme. So El Nino is basically warming up of the Pacific Ocean. All right. And then when warming of Pacific Ocean happens, Indian monsoon will get delayed. So if Amok gets really affected, means you won't be able to predict about El Nino. Now already let me tell you, this thing has collapsed. It is not that it will collapse. Collapse has already happened. Best evidence, look at what happened in UP. Who would have predicted at this time of the year, UP will see unseasonal, unpredictable, violent storms. That too in a state like UP. You're staying somewhere near the sea. I can understand. You're in Tamil Nadu, you're in Andhra. It makes sense. You're in Odisha. It makes sense. UP, no idea. Threat to India. For India, halted Atlantic conveyor belt would pull the tropical rain belt southward, severely destabilizing the summer monsoon, triggering longer dry spells and threatening the nation's agriculture. Tropical rain belt southward means, see, right now, intertropical convergence zone. This is the zone where you have a region of low pressure, and that is what attracts the winds, monsoon winds, to come towards India. If AMOC collapses, it is being feared that ITCZ can come further south. That means much of northern India won't receive any rainfall. You're looking at a huge collapse in food system, weather system, everything. Correct? Why is heat so much from morning to evening? Kundali Naganur. See, one of the main reason for that is I will explain that question to you by taking this topic here. Delhi retaining heat. See, first major reason is where are the trees? Everywhere we have concrete buildings, asphalt roads, then stone or brick footpaths. We feel it, right? Everything is interlocked. It is looking beautiful. Even in at our homes also sometimes we don't put this. We prefer everything to be like use only interlock there. So for my father's house again at the time of construction, I told not to put cement in between the interlock. So what ended up happening, only the problem is what always there will be with mud. If you keep it only with on mud, you just place the interlock there. Interlock, just for those people who are thinking what it is. These are small bricks which you place on the ground. So generally in between these two interlock, you will fill cement. Once you fill cement, the advantage is this thing won't move. But if you don't put the cement, what is the advantage? If it rains, water can enter the soil. That way you can ensure that groundwater table is there. Water is there. Ulta, you are having everything concrete. What is the other problem is concrete building, asphalt road, stone or brick footpath. They retain heat. They keep absorbing heat. That is, as long as the sun is out there, they'll keep taking the heat. Sun sets down. Nighttime, that heat is released. We feel the heat inside. We also feel the heat outside. Especially when you're walking between very close buildings with very little gap between them, you will feel the heat from the ground, from the building, everywhere you feel the heat. Outside also you feel hot, inside also you feel hot. Places like Noida, etc., where they actually use glasses, indoor heating becomes even more severe. That is the reason. Simple thing it is. You don't have trees anymore. It is as simple as that. All those are just temporary. Difficult it is. See, that is the reason why we call. See, it is not that trees cannot be planted. It is just that urban planning has never been done on a scientific basis. Always the planning has been done later. That is, you Build a road first. People will come there. You sell the plot. Then you will think about, oh, now traffic has increased. Now let us put a flyover. Like that it is. It is never futuristic. You never plan, okay, 100 years from now, 200 years from now, how things should be. That planning is never there. That is the reason. Urban planning in India is actually a joke. IMDb has come out with a new model. A new model means till now IMD, Meteorological Department, has been predicting the monsoon at the district level. District level, state level, national level. Now they will start predicting it from the block level onwards. So that it is more accurate, it can be used by the farmers also. This was done by the Ministry of Earth Sciences at the request of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. The rest of the points are there in the article itself, you may read it. The new hyperlocal forecasting system aims to help farmers determine optimal sowing periods, and make weather forecasts agriculturally actionable in addition to meteorologically accurate. Blended forecasting framework was developed by Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology under the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Indian rupee. So here in this particular article, again, if you read, it has brought in two interesting terms here. That is 2013, how did Indian rupee perform? Indian rupee performed very badly. Indian rupee was kept along with fragile five. Now, those people who used to say, Indian economy used to do such great things during Manmohan Singh's era, they should read this. 2013, Morgan Stanley coined the term fragile five. India, Indonesia, Brazil, South Africa, Turkey. All these currencies were depreciating. All these currencies were at a very bad situation. So why did it happen? That also we need to know. Clear? Any doubts so far, people? Sai Kumar, do a favor to yourself and for all of us. Why don't you just exit from this class? That will be better. So 2008, there was something called as recession. And why the recession occurred? It all started with a real estate bubble. Indiscriminate lending. So what do you mean by indiscriminate lending means? So this was the time period, if you remember, big real estate projects were being announced, not just in India, all around the world. Burj Khalifa, Palm Island in Dubai, all of that. And for all these loans, if you said it was for a real estate project, loans were given out immediately. Because cities were growing, everybody were growing, so money, immediately loans were given. Banks actually competed with each other to get real estate projects. Because a real estate project, if you get, I'm not talking about constructing 1 home, 2 home and all, I'm talking about constructing 10 flats, 30 flats, 40 flats, and then you are getting a huge amount. And you're taking a loan for like 30 years, 40 years. So 40 years, you have a company, real estate company, a construction company to pay you interest. So that is like a best deal, right? Somebody is paying you interest continuously for 40 years. So every bank used to compete. So competition came to such a point in USA where the interest rates were really close to zero. Because I need to get maximum customers, right? So what will I do? I'll keep lowering the interest rate, offering them, I can offer you better interest, I can offer you better interest, like that. This was happening for the companies, giving them loans at low interest rate. From the side of the customers, what was the thing? The people who will buy these houses, for them also loans were being given without even verifying their background. So I'll tell you what was the comedy here. Okay, believe it or not, back in those days, even sex workers were issued housing loan. I know it sounds very unbelievable, but that is the reality. In USA at that point of time, there was no way. They were not even checking whether this person has a regular income to pay this money back. Loans were being dispersed like that. So imagine the amount of money that was going. That is, you are guaranteed to collapse from on two levels. One, you are giving money at such low interest rate to big companies who are building these real estate projects. Real estate projects will work only as long as, till when will it work? Real estate will work only as long as you get buyers for your property. You don't get buyers, it's game over. Which is exactly what started happening from late 2000 on 2006-7 onwards. This started. Slowly this had started. Villa projects are complete. Houses are constructed. Flats are constructed. But it is lying vacant. Nobody to buy it. Nobody to buy it. So projects completed, but no buyers. Now how will you pay the interest to the bank? Interest could be low, very, very low it is. But still you have taken millions of dollars. You need to pay monthly at least 100,000 or 200,000 US dollars per month. How will you pay that? Your profits have started declining. So to save your profits, what do you do? If I'm a real estate company, I will start firing my employees. Employees who lose their job, what will they do? They won't spend money. They will try to save more money. These same employees will fire their cook. They will fire their driver. They will fire their maid. They will also what? Save money. So one person losing a job in a real estate company will create what? A cascading effect in the economy. One after the other, everybody starts losing their job. Consumer durable sales will decline. Because people won't buy mobile phone, new car, new clothes now. When you don't have a job, who will spend money on all this? People will only spend money on basic necessities. Because everybody wants to save money now. When will I get a job? I don't know. So what started as a isolated incident in the real estate sector started spreading like wildfire everywhere. Everywhere, real estate companies, then cook, driver, maid, everyone. And real estate companies obviously had websites which needed to be maintained by IT companies. IT companies based in India. Software engineers also started losing their job. It started spreading. On the other side, you are giving loans to sex workers also, or to people again who, without even verifying whether they'll be able to pay their money back. Even they were not able to pay the money back. Banking system started collapsing. Thus leading to what? 2008 recession. So that point of time, clear till here, any doubts? Central bank did not step in, Rishita. It did not step in. There is a movie, The Big Fall. Something. One movie is there. Brad Pitt. Oh, what is that Batman guy's name? Christian Bale. They are all the actors. Watch that movie, you will understand. Not related to the topic here. Nobody would see. US Federal Reserve did not bother to step in because it was leading to high growth at that time. That model was looking very successful. It was looking very successful to the point where, yeah, you give loans, people are constructing things, people are buying things. Great, let it keep going, let it keep going. So bubble, why we are calling it real estate bubble is, see, real estate also, it is not that the prices will only keep increasing. It will constantly keep increasing. It will eventually lead to a point where it should collapse. It should collapse. Or you should have a point where, let's say your real estate prices are going up, but the demand, the number of people who are in demand of houses, who are in need of houses, that should be really high. People who are in demand of houses and people who can pay for it. Then okay. Then this is sorted. But do you really think in USA you'd have that level of population where everybody will be able to afford housing? No. That's not the case. It will eventually come to a halt. You won't be able to buy it anymore. So what ended up happening was a simple case of you had too many houses, but very few buyers. Collapsed. Correct. The Big Short. अरे यार. What did the US Federal Reserve do later? US Federal Reserve, which is like the RBI in USA, they started this policy called quantitative easing. Quantitative easing simply meant US Federal Reserve decided to put dollars into the hands of financial institutions in USA. Give them money, thinking that they will be investing within the USA, in the US economy, in one or the other way. Gave them dollar and bought bonds. This came to be known as quantitative easing. Pumping dollars into financial institutions in USA, expecting that they will invest in it in the US economy. But what really did they do with the money? If I am an investor and I'm already seeing that USA real estate sector is down, and because real estate is down, it has affected every other sector. Overall, demand in the economy is down. Why will I invest in USA? I took that same dollar, the same dollar which US Federal Reserve gave me, I started investing it in emerging market economies. Emerging market economies means those economies which are in high growth state or will be growing in the future. Classic example, India. Just like how I say, even now we cannot control rupees depreciation. Back then also, because dollars were coming into Indian economy, dollar was coming into India, rupee value appreciated. It has nothing to do with India's growth story or anything. Yeah, okay. We were doing slightly better. So all the money was coming in. But not for too long. Because eventually, slowly and slowly, growth started happening in USA. And as slowly growth started coming back, people's trust on dollar again increased. So dollar which was coming into India, where did they invest that dollar? It was invested largely in the share market, or what we technically generally call as capital market. Dollar used to come, but as US economy started growing, the same people who invested in India, they pulled their investment, took all their investment out, went back to USA. And when they pulled out their investment and it went back to USA, that was called as quantitative tapering. Why quantitative tapering? So initially, Federal Reserve of USA was purchasing bonds from financial institutions and pumping dollar. But this dollar entered Indian share market. Rupee appreciated. Later, when US economy started growing, Federal Reserve reduced. As you can clearly see, if the earlier they were purchasing this much bonds, now they purchased less bonds. Less dollars for financial institutions. Less dollar for India. Ulta, dollars exited India, creating rupee depreciation. Any doubts still here? Interest rates increased in USA. Generally, in this phase, in USA, growth was low. Growth is low means inflation is low. When inflation is low, interest rate is low. Whereas in the next phase, as growth started picking up, inflation also started picking up. And when inflation started picking up, interest rate also started picking up. So when I can get better return, rather than keeping my dollars in India, I will get better return if I keep the dollar in the banks of USA and will get better interest rate. They started taking the dollar and taking it back here. Got it, Varsha? So the same situation is happening even now. Even now, what is happening is, like I told you, rupee value is depreciating. And because of the depreciation and because of the fact that we are importing, our import bills are much, much, much higher than our export earnings. We pay more dollars than what we earn. So because of that, once again, what is happening is dollar is leaving the country. No investments, no investors would prefer to be in India because it is easier to invest it in USA and it will get better return. Correct? Got the point? Again, the same repeat is happening. So if you look at the image here, the image what I have given is one from 2013. Yeah. This is 2013 data. We are having a repeat of the same scenario again. A repeat is happening. Why the repeat is happening? Well, crude oil prices have increased. Our import bills are very high. Rupee value is going on depreciating. It has hit an all-time high of 95.33. Like I told you before June 30th, there is a high chance that we will hit 100. So, Yeah, last year it was around 85 rupees around the same time period. Now it is 95. So once again, investments into the country will decline. Foreign investments. Adding to our host of troubles is the next point here. Inflation for April. Retail inflation is at 3.48%. It has started picking up. Wholesale inflation is 8.3. As you can clearly see by the graph, it was initially from April 2023, it was actually slightly declining. Now it has started picking up. Wholesale also it is going down, started picking up. Fuel and power prices under wholesale price increased by 24.71. Petroleum and natural gas prices increased by a whooping 67.2%. Rupee value has depreciated by 8.5%. Food prices increased by 4.2. Loss for PSU, public sector oil marketing companies, around 30,000 crore. Price of commercial LPG cylinder increased by 850 to 2,000. Price of 5 kilograms small LPG canister, 200 rupees. This 5 kilo LPG canister is generally used by these migrant laborers, poor families who don't have permanent residence, etc. Even to get your, Ujjwala Yojana, you need to get connection. Means it is the connection is only given under a woman's name. So if you are a single migrant laborer going on traveling, you are staying in some jeopardy, this is your only option to cook food. And that price has increased by 200. And like I told you, always remember, 90% of people, more than 90% of the people in our country are in informal sector. Got the point here? Solution, no solution for this, to be very honest. This is by Ashish Tara. See, we will have to find an alternative to crude oil. Or I know this may sound bizarre. Somebody has to do. So many presidents were assassinated in USA. Somebody has to do something about Trump. And this whole thing has to stop. Otherwise, there is no other go. Because as long as you are importing crude oil, which is like 85%. You are importing gold, which is again like more than 90%. You are dependent on natural gas also, which is one of the main ingredient necessary for fertilizer manufacture, especially urea. Electronics, coal. As you can clearly see, none of these items, there is a substitute for it which India has. None of it. Last year, USA tried its level best to squeeze India out by imposing tariff. But last year, like I told you, believe it or not, India managed to increase its exports in spite of the US tariff. What we did, USA is not buying, fine, we will sell our product to other places. That way we were doing great. So Indian exports actually increased. That fellow couldn't take it. So he wanted to do something where India also gets punched. Iran attack was only a reason. What reason did they give? Iran may attack us, so it is a preemptive strike. Before Iran could attack us, we are attacking Iran. That is the reason given by USA and Israel. But who is their main target here? Main target is actually India. Bringing Indian government to its knees. Even if Modi government would have called Trump and told, please stop this war, we are in a very bad situation. Trust me, the next day he would have called a press conference and he would have told, my dear friend Modi, he called me and we finally decided to call the war off. And he would have probably, even he would have said that I have single-handedly stopped so many wars. All that. This is what he wanted to get done. We didn't budge. So what? We are suffering. And let me tell you, the worst is not over yet. The worst is yet to come. As somebody rightfully told, अभी तक हमने कुछ भी देखा नहीं है. Main picture abhi bhi baki hai. If this thing doesn't stop, I'm telling you, we are in for a serious crisis, as warned by, I think, Kotak manager or somebody, MD or someone, has said. We are in for some serious trouble. Clear? Quickly, a PYQ. Not a PYQ, sorry, this is a question again. Consider following statements. Oh, I don't know how many of you will be able to. Yeah. Consider following statements regarding India's external sector vulnerabilities during periods of global economic uncertainty. A rise in foreign interest rates can trigger capital outflows from emerging economies such as India, even if domestic interest rate remains unchanged. The taper tantrum of 2013 was associated with expectation of tighter monetary policy by US Federal Reserve. A widening current account deficit combined with capital flight can exert depreciation pressure on the Indian rupee. US Federal Reserve and the Bank of England increased policy interest rates above 5% immediately after the outbreak of the Persian Gulf conflict in 2026. Which of the statements given above are correct? A rise in foreign interest rate can trigger capital outflow from emerging economies such as India, even if domestic interest rates remain unchanged. It simply means if in US say interest rate, let us say it is 5%, and in India it is only 3%, it is remaining unchanged. So, which is more? 5 is more. Whoever would have invested their dollars in India, what they will do? They'll take it out back to USA or in any other emerging economy, Brazil, South Africa, Indonesia, Philippines, wherever it is, they'll pull out all their dollars from all emerging market economies. They will pull it out and take it back to USA. And always I have told you one thing. Dollars can enter into the country in the form of export earnings, or it can come as foreign investments, either as FDI or as FII. FII, foreign institutional investment, simply means a US citizen is investing in Reliance, or it can come as remittances. Remittances means people who are staying abroad, they are sending money home. Anyone through services also, information technology, tourism. So all this dollar will enter the country, which means rupee will appreciate. Keep it in mind. Money, dollar, foreign currency is entering into the country, it will increase. Even you take a loan, a foreign loan, what you take, it will help in rupee appreciation. Foreign currency coming into the country is always good. So, what is its ulta? Bad. If dollar is exiting the country, that is bad. That is why you call it capital outflow. So, the first point right here, that is, rise in foreign interest rate can trigger capital outflow from emerging economies such as India, even if domestic interest rates remain unchanged. It is going out. So, it is strengthening things outside. The taper tantrum of 2013 was, so that first statement is correct. The taper tantrum of 2013 was associated with expectation of tighter monetary policy by the US Federal Reserve. This, if you were listening to the class, you would have understood the diagram. This is what you call a taper. Means the edges are not exactly straight. It is tapering, it is narrowing down. Earlier, I used to purchase this much bonds. Now it has reduced. Now it is further reducing. Means what? It is a monetary tightening that is happening. So that second statement is also correct. A widening current account deficit. That means widening current account deficit simply means your imports are much higher than your exports. Along with capital flight means dollars are going out. Can exert depreciation pressure on Indian rupee. That is actually true, which is happening right now. 1, 2, 3 are correct. The US Federal Reserve and the Bank of England increased policy interest rates above 5% immediately after the outbreak of the Persian Gulf conflict in 2026. Now, only the fourth statement I have a doubt. With the given options, I know, okay, either it is D or it is A. But how do I know whether they increased it above 5% immediately after the outbreak? As soon as it started, they immediately increased. Normally, that is not what happens. Strait of Hormuz issue happened. Crude oil prices would have increased. After the crude oil prices increased, it affected the domestic policy. It affected the domestic prices. Domestic prices started increasing. Then US Federal Reserve and Bank of England could have increased. Not that as soon as the prices started, immediately they will increase, because it will take time. It takes time. If you look at the inflation map, inflation diagram also what I gave you, if you look at this, gradually only the inflation started picking up. 8.3, 3.48. So immediately, there is no stretch of imagination why immediately they increased it. Gradually it should have happened. Because that is how it is. Interest rates are not increased immediately. You will monitor multiple things, verify. You have to confirm, okay, inflation is consistently increasing or not. Last month it increased, but this month it didn't increase. Then wait. Last month it increased. This month also it increased. 3 months before that also it increased. That means, oh, we have to stop it now. Then only the interest rates are increased. That third statement, otherwise also if you see, even if you didn't know this much also, the very word, immediately. Oh, bomb blasted there. Okay, let us increase the interest rate. Nobody, no bank will do that. No central bank will do that. You should be an idiot of Himalayan proportions to do that nonsense. So fourth sentence is wrong. A is the right answer. Suman, 25%. Suman is there on the top rank. B was marked by 50. C was marked by 25. This is a comparison between US and Chinese economy. You can read the image. What the image basically says is, in the research and development race itself, back in 2024, China overtook USA. China spends around $785.9 billion in 2024. USA spent only $781.8 billion. So, everywhere, China's labor productivity is also very, very high compared to USA. US GDP in 2025 is only 1.5 times larger than China. In 1990, US economy was 15 times larger than Chinese economy. Today it is just 1.5. US growth is only around 3%. This is US growth. Chinese growth is in and around 5%. Red color. China's share in global exports, 13%. $140 billion what China lent to public and private sector borrowers. USA was the largest recipient of China's money. That is, whatever USA is the largest borrower of Chinese money. All right. CapEx and private sector. This is India's CapEx. CapEx means capital expenditure made by the private sector. That has increased by 67%. That is, the private sector in India is doing a good job. 7.7 lakh crore. Sector-wise investment, 3.8 lakh crore in manufacturing sector. Service sector, 3.1 lakh crore. Then how strong momentum across key economic indicators. Bank credit growth by 14%. Various schemes for MSMEs. Strategic recommendations. Just data only. Nothing great here. What is the time? It's already 9:45. Oh. From Mission Drishti, we will take it up in the next class. Mission Drishti and some science and tech topics are there. Mission Drishti will take it up in the next class onwards. And some other backlogs also. China can challenge USA. Is economic recession on the way? We are already in a recession. Why do you think it is on the way? It is here. I mean, come on, every sector. Which sector is not affected today? The reason why all these people are preparing for government jobs, NEET exam, there is a huge rush for all these exams today is because private sector, especially the IT sector, has become unpredictable, all thanks to AI. IT sector has gone for a toss, complete toss. So it's only a matter of time. We are already in a recession. It is not that nobody is not in a recession, though. If you really see, even in real estate sector itself, new flats purchase, new buildings purchase, construction, etc. has all got slowed down. If you really ask the current generation, they are not ready to risk it at all. They are absolutely okay paying 40,000 rent. They are like, jab tak hai, tab tak hai. Tomorrow, if this job is not there, I won't be able to pay this rent. It's okay. I will leave the city and I'll go back to my village. But I am not going to take the risk of buying a flat, let us say worth 1 crore or something, start paying 40,000 as EMI, and maybe after one year or something, I lose my job. 2 EMIs I'm not able to pay. The bank comes and seals my entire flat, and then they sell it to somebody else for a throwaway price. That risk I don't want to take. So it is already here. It is already there. People have already slowed down. Now Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, came and told you shouldn't travel abroad. You should reduce your travel. Try to do domestic travel. Even before Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, came and said that, people have already reduced foreign travel. Foreign travel has really gone down. All right. Gold import, why should we reduce? We should reduce it because you are paying for it in dollar. Gold, you are paying for it in dollar. The more you import it, the more dollars we have to pay. And do we have enough dollars here? Where do we get dollars from? Dollars you will only get from exports. But our exports are not so high to the point where you can get that many dollars also. Because what are we exporting? Paneer, clothes, fruits, vegetables. From that, you won't be able to make that much amount of dollar. That is the reason. Deepak Vohra can tell whatever he wants. I don't know about what basis he is telling that. Oracle, people have been laid off. The company where my wife is working, Wells Fargo, it's an American finance company. Their layoff is happening as we speak. Just one letter is sent to them and told that, see, pack your bags. That's it. It is already there. AI, you can call it, it is just a phase, it is that a phase, it is this a phase. Even I agree, it is just a phase. Because AI is only useful for those people who have a strong base in theory. It is useful for those people. It is not that a complete idiot can come and then use AI and that person will be able to do all the job. No, that even I agree. But you must also agree to the point where, say for example, now in the olden days, creating something like this, an infographic like this would easily cost somewhere around 1,000 to 2,000 rupees. Hours and hours of detailing and work. Hours and hours. Today, this is not required. Today, I know to pick the data. I know which data to be picked. I know how it should be presented. All that I know. I collect the data. I put it to ChatGPT. I generate this image. Where 2 people, 3 people should have worked. Faculty, content creator, designer. Now, no need of a content creator, no need of a designer. Faculty himself is doing all the work here. 2 people's job went. Not required anymore. That's it. Otherwise also I've never employed any third party for my content. Always my content is my content. I don't use it for any I don't give it to anybody else. So I can dawe ke saath I can say I can vouch for the content what I give because it is not prepared by any third party. My content it is. So that is why I tell you in the description this PDF is available, download it. We have only limited forex reserve. We cannot keep giving out, what is it, whenever dollar is not there, we cannot keep taking it out from our forex. Because the level of the dollar shortage what we are having right now, the dollar payments that we have to make right now, it is so huge. Jayant Kumar Pillai, see, thorium is there since 1950s. We know thorium is present in Kerala. But that can be only used in the third stage of the nuclear, 3-stage nuclear program, for which we will have to wait at least 20 to 40 years now. We have only reached till the second stage. So at least another 20-30 years minimum we will have to wait. Then the project approval, etc., it will take its own sweet time. So it is not that easy. Rashmi Singh, just attend the current affair class for now. My current affair classes you attend, that is more than sufficient. Focus on your 12th, focus on getting admission into a proper college. Because if UPSC doesn't work also, you should have a job in your hand. How to start UPSC CSE during graduation. If you're planning to do self-preparation, watch the NCRT series video of polity and geography, which is available in PWLI's English YouTube channel. Harpreet Sir's as well as my videos are there. Start with those. Rashmi Rekha Sahu, what is the reason for petroleum shortage? Are you trolling me or you are genuinely asking a doubt? We don't have petroleum, that's it. We don't have that petroleum reserve here. There is no Hindi imposition on any southern state. Kashi, Nagan. I think already somebody answered you. Education policy basically says that you have to teach 3 languages. One is the mother tongue, the other is English. The third language should be some other language, Indian scheduled language, which is there, which is approved by the constitution. 1/3 language you have to take up. That is the rule or law. That is what it says. The controversy is because in case if you choose Hindi, you will get support from central government. In paying the Hindi teachers' fees, etc., some additional fund you will get if you choose Hindi means. That is the logic. And I don't see what is the problem in it also, because personally speaking, one additional language, learning Hindi, I don't see a fault in it. Because if people say that if I learn Hindi, I'll forget my mother tongue, my $1 million question is, you learned English. Did you forget the mother tongue? You won't forget your mother tongue, because first of all, let me tell you, for example, I have studied Arabic. I have studied Arabic till my 8th standard, because I was in Dubai. Till 8th standard, I have studied it. I can't speak even one full sentence properly. I can identify a few alphabets. Why? Even after studying it for 13 years, why can't I say proper sentence in Arabic? Because in my home, it is not used as a language. Even if you study Hindi from a young age also, other than, I know people again from the state of Kerala who knows to identify the Hindi alphabets. Ram ji ka chai daba. Like that they will read it. Chai, chada chai avada gittu. That's all they will say. But if they ask, Bhaiya, idhar clean karo, fir jao, आओ, खाना, fir jao. This is how they say. Basically, they wanted to tell, भैया पहले आप साफ करो, बाद में आप खाना खाकर वापस आना, थोड़ा और काम है, वो भी खत्म कर लेना. To tell this full kathakali they will do. Until and unless you don't use that language inside your home, or you don't use it for communicating with your friends, no matter whatever you study at school, even if French is taught at school, you're not going to remember it. It is as simple as that. Otherwise, English is taught in every government school today. How many students can actually speak fluent English? Forget government schools, CBSE schools, English medium schools, people actually study. Why is it that they are not able to really speak fluently, properly in English? Because it is not used. That is the only reason. If it is used at home, you will use it. You don't use it at home, you will know it only barely what is needed. You can read, you can write, you can speak one or two words. Same thing will happen with Hindi. This is unnecessarily, this has been escalated now. As if, oh my God, it is an imposition, this will happen, that will happen, and all nonsense. Politics are happening around it. Other than that, nothing is there. Rohit, I think they are going for it next year onwards. Computer-based test. But computer-based test again, Rohit, it is not foolproof. It is not at all foolproof. SSC is computer-based test. In SSC only you had paper leak. You had issues. And that too twice you had. 2016 also, and very recently also you had. 1 or 2 years ago again SSC paper leak was there. Computer-based test it is. Conducted by NTA again. So can't help it. Forex cannot directly affect the common people, but then basically what will happen is if your Forex exactly gets over, let us say Forex reserves gets over completely, it simply means you don't have money to buy imported goods. This crisis we had faced back in 1991 when our Forex had only didn't have enough money, had barely had money for 2 weeks of imports. This crisis we had faced back then. Okay, all sorts of morons are coming in. Let's call it a day, people. Take care.